Hello, and welcome back to the Holistic Hatha Yoga Podcast. I'm Kelsey, and I am here to walk you through all things Holistic Hatha Yoga. So this week we are coming back with the chakra journey. We are on chakra number 3, and we are moving on up in the world. So, yeah. After this episode, there will be a brief break. I've got a really fun interview I'm super excited to share with you guys on some holistic remedies in the just human health world. So we'll talk more about that next week. But yeah, welcome back. And this week we're going to dive right in. We're moving into chakra number 3, like I said. This is the Manipura Chakra, or the Solar Plexus. So this is located at the navel, or slightly above the belly button, I suppose, below the rib cage. And this chakra is usually associated with the color yellow, and it is our internal sun, if you will. It's where we can draw energy from the outside world through this chakra to then lighten and heal and cleanse all other chakras in our system. So, this is a very important area. It's very centralized to the body. There's a lot of very important nerves going through this area, both delivering and receiving information. The pancreas is mostly associated um, with this chakra, and um, more specifically, a bundle of nerves in the pancreas that helps us um, regulate our sugar levels in our blood. So, um, this is a very important area, as we all know how important that is. So, moving on. Like I said, this is where we draw energy. Its color is yellow, and this is really like a place of our power, like our standing in our power. So if we have a very healthy Manipura chakra, we are in that like confident, powerful, but not egotistical, loving, joyful, and very connected to spirit as well. So like I feel like this relates to Hinduism and the Bhagavad Gita in the way of like we have every right to perform our duties, to perform our dharma, to do what we feel called to do, but we don't have right to the fruits of it because we don't know. Sometimes there are fruits, sometimes there are not, and sometimes they're ours and sometimes they're others, and sometimes it's for everyone to share, and it doesn't matter what the fruit of it will be. It doesn't even matter if there will be a fruit at the end. What matters is that you're doing your duty and that you're doing what feels right for you, and sharing with the world in the way that you feel called to do. So those are all the telltale signs of a healthy chakra. Um, so what does the unhealthy side of that look like is more of like that egotistical, power hungry, arrogant type of confidence that we're all very familiar with. And it's not cute. It's not a cute look for anyone. So that is an unbalanced Manipura chakra. Um, and yes, we all know those people, and let's not be them. So, um, this chakra is also the symbol that is tied to it is a 10-petaled lotus, and each of the petals represents something that we must overcome in order to move on from this chakra into the heart chakra, where after the heart chakra and up, we are kind of moving into the spiritual realm. And from the past two chakras and this one, we're kind of more so working with that mind and body, the 3D world type of situations, where as we move up, we're going to be moving into more spiritual realms. But it's all spiritual, it's all work, it's all practice. So these petals, each of these petals are spiritual ignorance, thirst, jealousy, treachery, shame, fear, disgust, delusion, foolishness, and sadness. So all of these things are to be overcome to move on to the heart. Now you're probably like, thirst, like what do you mean? It's like that's more of like the gluttonous thirst, like the endless thirst, the thirsting for everything and nothing ever being enough. And we all know of like jealousy and treachery, all of these things are very familiar to the human condition, but they are also the things that lead us down paths of destruction. Like delusion is in there as one of the things to be overcome. We have all been in those places where either we ourselves are delusional about something or someone else is completely delusional about something, and it's like, whoa, whoa, you can't work with this until this is overcome, until this delusion is overcome, until this sadness is overcome, until this woe is me is overcome, until you are moving from a place of joy and love. It's really difficult, and gratitude, I'll throw gratitude in there too. It's really difficult to really gain any traction in any sort of action that you're taking. And so I think this is a super important chakra in this way, where it addresses all of these things, and spiritual ignorance being the first one. Let's highlight that as well. Highlight, 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 underline, star, star, star. Like that's what we'd be doing in a notebook if we were like going through this right now. The spiritual ignorance is a huge one, because if we are spiritually ignorant, then what are we doing it for? We're doing it for the ego, or we're doing it for others, which in turn is then for our own ego. If we're not spiritually grounded and connected if that's not like part of our through line, again, we are going to be running into roadblock after roadblock after roadblock after roadblock, because it's just not in alignment with how, I don't want to say with how to move forward, but sort of with the, to be able to, move forward in life with ease and with confidence and love and joy and radiance and enthusiasm. These things must be overcome. You must know that we are one drop of the ocean, as Rumi or whoever said it. And so, yes, this chakra, we are overcoming all of these human downfalls so that we can move forward into our heart and move from a space of love and unconditional consciousness of just, we're all part of the same grouping here. But I mean, as I kind of said, these are part of the human condition. All of these feelings and these emotions of, delusion or treachery or foolishness, sadness, these are all just part of life, and we need to learn how to deal with them. And that is what this ancient, amazing system of yoga has built for us, is like this way of being, this way of self-mastery, this way of, overcoming life and moving through it in a graceful manner. And I think that's a beautiful thing. So anyway, we know if we are having issues in this chakra, if, like I said, if we're having power struggles, if we're fearful, if we have anxiety, depression, overly introverted. And this chakra is also highly, highly associated with stress. If we are stressed out, like this is the main chakra that we need to take a peek at. And stress is not just like, oh, I'm stressed out. It is it is a true concern in our within our health and our lifestyle and things. I feel like Americans specifically have like really idolized being stressed out and being like, like almost pairing someone who's stressed out with someone who's successful, being like, oh, I'm so stressed out. I have so many things going. I have, family and work and this and that, and it's all so full, and my own business and this, that, the other, and trips and vacations and more and more and more. But really, that's not how we de-stress, is not adding things into our life. That's not how we get less stressed. And there is good stress and there's bad stress, like working out your body, that is still stressful to the body, but it's good stress, and then there's things such as bad stress, like emotional distress or unease or what have you. um and then and these things have like a true effect on our body. That's where I'm gonna go out on a limb here and say over 90% of our illnesses and our diseases are going to start with stress somewhere, some way, shape, or form. um I was reading this statistic that 4 out of 5 people who experience various stressful changes at once will suffer from a major illness within 2 years. That is scary. That's crazy. And so, like, okay, what is a stressful change? And there was a whole list of them. This is from the U.S. Army Medical Corps. And so the list that they say is um, divorce, personal injury or illness, being fired at work or retirement, sex difficulties, gain or loss of a family member, change in responsibilities in work, change in work hours or conditions, outstanding personal achievement. See, so like even a great thing, still stressful. Moving house or abroad, change in sleep habits, Christmas. Literally, Christmas is on the list. That's crazy. Minor violations of the law. So if you have any two or more of these things going on in your life, chances are 4 out of 5 people, that's 80%, will experience a major health issue within 2 years of these things going down. What in the actual fuck? That is insane, but also like surprising, but not surprising, but also surprising. It's like, why why is it looked at so? I feel like when people are stressed out, it's like looked at as just like, oh, that doesn't matter. So what? Everyone's stressed out, whatever. Like people blow it off, but it's like, no, that is a big deal. Being stressed out is not the norm. That is not the baseline. That's not what we should be working towards, and that's not what we should be happy with. The stress, like you should not be happy with like, oh, I just know that my life is just overall stressful. Like, no, I'm sorry. And also maybe I'm privileged to be able to be like, we don't all need to be stressed, but that's if you're not sitting within a war-torn country, and I'm currently not, so that's great for me, and I hope you're not either. So if we're not, then we also can probably do something in our lives to make it a little less stressful. So, anyway, moving on, but like that's just an alarming statistic, and to just know that like that is what will happen. So now you're like, blah, I've got like 18 of those things going on all at once. I'm going to die. Like, no, 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 no. Not all hope is lost. We can do things. And that is a beautiful thing. We have free will, we have choice, we have action that we can take because we are conscious human beings and we are taking care of our bodies. And so let's say we do have some of these things going on. Guess what? I said 4 out of 5, not 5 out of 5. So one of those lucky motherfuckers is not getting sick. probably because they're taking care of themselves in ways that they know that they should. So let's be that 20% in this 4 out of 5 people, or let's be that 1 out of 5, I should say, that does not get sick. How do we do that? Um, Number one, always moving our body. Movement is like key. To close second, maybe number one should be drinking water, because that's also a necessity. But let's just put those neck and neck. 1 and 2, movement of any sort. Walking is wonderful. Walking is a great movement. Um, and water, and just being hydrated truly makes a huge difference. I drink out of like this one specific water bottle. It's very large. It has a straw. I love it. Other than that, it's not very fancy at all, and I only drink water out of it. But if I drink about 3 of them in a day, that's over my appropriate water intake, and that's amazing. And I usually get about almost 4 in, and then I drink herbal teas throughout the day too. So I definitely get my water intake, which I love. However, if I do not have this cup, as stupid as this sounds, if I do not have this tumbler, I don't drink water. I am a parched bitch just walking around dehydrated as fuck, because I'm not drinking my water. And it's like, because it's not in my preferred vessel. I don't know. I'm crazy, I guess. But also, like, drinking like an 8-ounce glass, like I gotta drink so many of those in order to meet my quota, where like 3 of these large ones, that's very easy for me. But apparently the same amount but in smaller increments, no go, too overwhelming. I don't have time for that shit. Anyway, yeah, I know I sound insane, but it is simple things like that, like making sure you're drinking enough water, even if you don't have your preferred water vessel. um like I said, with the movement, um also just intentional either meditation or resting. Um, and by intentional resting, I mean like truly just sitting and letting yourself just do nothing, which you could also call meditation if you want to put a little fun spin on it. um, but those things really help create some space and help you recognize what you are, what you aren't, what you do have control over, what you don't have control over, what you need to hold on to and walk with, what you can let go of. You can discover all of these things in 11 minutes of peace. And so just like allowing ourselves to have that time and space of that centeredness and connectedness. um and then other ways of just helping clear stress and clear our energy field is visualization. It's a huge, huge tool that we can use um, in in healing, clearing, and re-energizing, recalibrating our chakra system, our energy system, our body, our spirit, whatever you want to call it. And to do that is pretty simple. It's just literally just thinking about each spot, each area, moving our attention and intentions from the base all the way up, just one at a time, all the way through the crown chakra, breathing in a nice, clean white light, breathing out any debris and just stagnant energy that we do not need anymore, and really revitalizing each of these areas. And again, this is something that can be done just laying on the ground for 10 to 30 minutes and just, allowing yourself to move through these spaces and cleanse and open and receive and move on. So, those are some basic ways that you could start to clear your energy systems if we are feeling a little bit stagnant, a little bit overly stressed, um, and a little bit stuck in this energy here of a stagnant or not fully functioning uh, Manipura or solar plexus chakra. Um, so basically, it's like, okay, well, why are we balancing all of this shit anyway? What is it for? Why? So we could be like the healthiest beings ever? Like what is what is it for? And I will tell you what it's for. It is so that we have the healthiest vessel for our spirit to travel through during this time and space, which I think is a very beautiful, beautiful thing when you really break it down in those ways of just like, I realize I have a very special little light within, and I want this light to have the best experience possible during this situation. And I'm going to do everything that I can to take care of it and to make sure that all engines are firing and everything's good and that we're moving in a positive way toward in a way of like love and light and consciousness and togetherness. And I really don't see what can be possibly wrong with that. So, yes, this chakra is all about connectedness, to both ourselves, to others, and to universal consciousness. Um, the idea of like the energy behind the sun keeps coming up when discussing this chakra. And there's lots of different um, lores and myths and religions and thoughts of yes, this idea of energy beyond the sun, behind the sun specifically, and just the idea that it's beyond our solar system. It's not just us and our planets and our sun and that's it. It's like no, it's the vastness of the entire universe, which is amazing. And so when we're moving from a place of a healthy solar plexus, we feel our own personal power. We feel awakened. We feel fearless. We feel connected to our spirit, to our inner fire, to our sun, our personal inner sun. Um, and that is really where our power lies, is in embracing our own relating to spirit as we feel it, as we see it, as we connect to it, and just moving from that point of truth, that point of authenticity, that point of knowingness, and not really being concerned with much else other than, is this action, thing, what have you, is it rooted in my truth and my connectedness to my personal relating to spirit? And if it is, great, go forward. If it's not, let's take a peek at this, let's rethink this. Let's double check it and make sure, is it that it's something that is truly in line with it in our spirit. And if it doesn't feel that way, then moving on, you know, and something else will come. Um uh yeah, this is just a really beautiful, beautiful chakra to teeter with in the realm of yoga, because a lot of people think that yoga is either completely godless or based off of Hindu religion, and it's kind of neither. It is and all, it's really just about this connectedness with spirit, and it really doesn't have to do with any religion outside of just being connected to the universal which I think is the most simplistic and beautiful way to put that. And I truly do believe that simplicity is key when it comes to things like this, and just keeping it as simple as possible is the best way for us all to be able to just agree and move forward with life. Are we doing this for our highest good? Yes? Great. No? No bueno. Move on, So when we feel that full on connection with spirit, when we understand that connectedness, when we have had that moment of like, holy cow, I am here and existing with all of these other creatures at this time and place and space, and holy shit, I can feel it all. We're all breathing together. We're all organically part of this big, beautiful thing. That is when you can finally move forward and move on into your heart chakra and move from a place of true love and awe and joy and just unconditional love for those around you, and being part of life, just being grateful to being a witness to this thing called life, being grateful for the opportunity to be a witness here at this specific time and place and space where you are seated exactly right now in this moment. And that's a really, really powerful thing and a really beautiful thing. And from that place, there is no, as you can see, there's really no space for greed or manipulation or fear or delusion or treachery or thirst or disgust. Like there's no room for any of those things here in the heart chakra. And that's why it's so important in the solar plexus that we overcome those things and that we like finally put them to the past of like, oh, I understand the ignorance of those thoughts and I am moving towards this appreciation, this gratefulness, this connectedness to spirit. And then these things are finally shed in the past and you're like moved on into this new light of the heart chakra, of this unconditional love, of the gratitude of where we are. um and then we move on and on and on as well. And so it's just a beautiful unfolding as we slowly move up into these areas and into these realms, and overcoming these shortcomings of being human and really realizing the bigger picture of it all, through our own personal experience, through our own personal interconnectedness with spirit. Not with the way that somebody else tells you that you must do it, not by visiting a certain church or mosque or place X times a day, this many times a year, or whatever. Just in your daily presence, in your daily actions, in your choices, in your moment to moment life. Um, yeah. And so the awareness of that, the playfulness with that, and the awareness and expansion of that, I suppose, is really what we're doing here when we are practicing yoga, when we are being in touch with ourselves, and when we are being of service to others. So that pretty much wraps up this chakra in a short, lovely little way. I guess before we end it all, um, a pose that you could look into to help stimulate the solar plexus chakra would be camel pose. And so you can check that out. That is a great pose for really opening up that chest area right below the sternum and really getting any stagnant energy there to move along and freshen up, invite new light in, cleansing light, and yeah, just shedding of the gunk, shedding of the things we no longer need to carry on. Um, but yeah, I think that about wraps us up here in the solar plexus chakra. Next episode in this line will be the heart chakra. But like I said at the beginning of the episode, we're going to take a brief break on this run, and we'll be talking about red light therapy in my next episode with an amazing doctor who has been at the forefront of this movement over the last 30, 40 years. And I am so excited to share with you guys our discussion on these holistic therapies that are just completely natural and holistic and beautiful. So until next week, my friends, I will chat with you later. I hope you have a lovely week, and I hope you have learned something here about our Manipura chakra, Manipura, if I can ever say it right, chakra, and how we can really get in touch with that solar plexus. All right, all love and light, my friends. I will talk to you next week. Namaste. Bye.